my father's film career started after the war in 1946 when he saw an advertisement in the paper asking for actors with experience of prisoner of war camps. And as he'd spent 5 years, he felt he was qualified. And they wanted somebody to be an advisor as well as an actor. And this was with Cavalcanti at Ealing Films, and known as Cav, apparently, which makes sense. And Basil Dearden was the director of Captive Heart. And I think he asked I can't remember the name of the friend, but he got a friend to come along as well. And he was worried that they preferred the friend to him. But then it turned out that he didn't think he'd got the job, but they actually wanted 20 people to be background artists as well as advisors. So basically, it was people who'd been POWs to flesh the entourage around Jack Warner and Jimmy Hanley and the other stars of the film. And incidentally, Jack Warner became a really big pal of his as a consequence of being in that. And he was given lines, which I think was the big advantage, because he then could say, I've said lines in films. You know, this was his first big break.
My old woman makes the kids pay a penny a week to the Red Cross. I'm writing to her to stop that caper. Red Ruddy Cross. Ruddy sausage we ever get out of it.
It's only 2 months, Win. Don't forget, there were only a few hundred prisoners here before. Now there are tens of thousands. It's a big job.
Yeah, don't let's kid ourselves. Nobody worries about us anymore. We've been written off.
Every single part of the service is possible. He played soldiers, sailors, airmen, stewards, everything associated with the army, with the war, because there were so many war films. And similarly, when he learnt to ride. There was a film called The Boy Jockey about Lester Piggott's early life, and it required the actor who can ride was specifically required. And he went for the interview, and they said, "Sam, can you ride?" And he said, "Of course I can. I've never ridden a horse in his life before." So went off and had some lessons at I think in Rotten Row, just trotting up and down round Hyde Park. And that was sort of vaguely sufficient. And of course, the horse bolted when he was there. But he knew the film business sufficiently to know that in actual fact, for the difficult stuff, they'd have a double riding it. He was just in for the close-ups, you know. But then, because a consequence of doing that, he was then in Rainbow Jacket, because they went, who's an actor who can ride? Oh yes, Sam Kydd will get him in. And he wasn't a terribly good rider, but it's sort of you set something off, you know. So Captive Heart actually set this whole business of him playing soldiers and sailors and Air Force men off. But yes, he went out to Germany, despite having vowed never to go back to Germany again, or Poland, or anywhere since the war. But he liked the fact that he was eating properly, and he actually got to see the place. You know, they got to see Berlin. Bizarrely, he then went to Germany in a review. So he went again just after Captive Heart. And Harry Seacombe was in the review, and they became firm friends as a consequence. And he said that on one occasion, Harry Seacombe stood outside a balcony of a hotel and pretended to be Adolf Hitler, and just gave a completely ridiculous gobbledygook German speech out of the window, and had a large crowd of people assembled listening to. But yeah, that was a review for all the troops who were still in Germany, all the English troops still in Germany at the time, because before they'd been demobilized. So that was about 1946 as well. And then after that as well, he then went to Skegness to do some weekly rep. So he kept going, but it was tricky at the beginning, as it is for all actors.